Hello. Hi guys. Happy Monday. Welcome to another Monday. Happy September, y'all. It's a new month, new week. The kids, false alarm, they're not back out. The teachers have decided to take another day, an additional day to rest and reflect. So some of our kids are still at home. So today, moving right along. Parents tomorrow. They're back out tomorrow. They're back out tomorrow. They're not out today. They're back out tomorrow. So today I want to continue with our discussion that we had last Monday on character. So I know I spoke about Daniel and how distinguished he was about how he did his work and so on, and that those that were working, his co-workers, wanted to find something to pin against him because his rap sheet was too clean. So they wanted to find something. And this is chapter 6. Jumping back to chapter 5, I realized, but wait now, this man, boy, whatever age he was at the time, was not only distinguished and operated well, was not corrupt, was not delinquent, was trustworthy when they put him to administrate. But long before that, so the king had an issue. So I read in chapter 5 from verse 1. Let me bear with me. We're going to try to be short. So King Belshazzar gave a great banquet for 1,000 of his nobles and drank wine with them. While Belshazzar was drinking his wine, he gave orders to bring in the gold and silver goblets that Nebuchadnezzar his father had taken from the temple in Jerusalem, so that the king and his nobles, his wives and his concubines might drink from them. So they brought in the gold goblets that had been taken from the temple of God, in Jerusalem, and the king and his nobles, his wives and his concubines drank from them. As they drank the wine, they praised the gods of gold and silver and bronze and iron and wood and stone. Suddenly, the fingers of a man had appeared and wrote on the plaster of the wall, near the lampstand in the royal palace. The king watched the hand as it wrote. His face turned pale and he was so frightened that his legs became weak and his knees were knocking. Don't play with God. The king summoned the enchanters, astrologers, and diviners. Then he said to these wise men of Babylon, whoever reads this writing and tells me what it means will be clothed in purple and have a gold chain placed around his neck, and he will be made the third highest ruler in the kingdom. Then all the king's wise men came in, but they could not read the writing or tell the king what it meant. So King Belshazzar became even more terrified, and his face grew more pale. His nobles were baffled. The queen, hey queens, the queen, hearing the voices of the king and his nobles, came into the banquet hall. May the king live forever, she said. Don't be alarmed. Don't look so pale. There is a man in your kingdom who has the spirit of the holy gods in him. In the time of your father, he was found to have insight and intelligence and wisdom. This is Daniel, we boy Daniel. Insight and intelligence and wisdom like that of the gods. Your father, King Nebuchadnezzar, appointed him chief of the magicians, enchanters, astrologers, and diviners. He did this because Daniel, whom the king had called Belshazzar, was found to have a keen mind and knowledge and understanding, and also the ability to interpret dreams and explain riddles and solve difficult problems. Call for Daniel and he will tell you what the writing means. This queen had real confidence in Daniel. So Daniel was brought before the king. And the king said to him, are you Daniel, one of the exiles my father the king brought from Judah? I have heard that the spirit of the gods is in you, and that you have insight, intelligence, and understanding and wisdom. Is here, he didn't experience, see, or had any encounter where Daniel displayed such qualities. Here. I heard. My wife tell me, somebody tell the wife, because they were nowhere around experiencing those things that Nebuchadnezzar would have experienced at that point in time. Somebody would have told her, and I am reiterating what is your character saying? What are people saying about you? I mentioned last week that even Jesus said, who do men say that I am? What is your reputation among folks? Verse 15 says, the wise men and enchanters were brought before me to read this writing and tell me what it means, but they could not explain it. Now I have heard that you are able, you see here again, that you are able to give interpretations and to solve difficult problems. If you can read this writing and tell me what it means, you will be clothed in purple and have a gold chain placed around your neck. Like he didn't hear about Daniel and them. And the three Hebrew boys who didn't even want to eat the king's meat, they were good with vegetables and water. No thank you was their constant refrain. He didn't hear, this is what you offered. Men who didn't even care to eat your food. Gold chain and a purple robe. He will learn. He gonna learn today. And you will be made the third highest ruler in the kingdom. Then Daniel answered the king, you may keep your gifts. You may keep your gifts, so. Keep your gifts for yourself and give your rewards to someone else. Nevertheless, I will read the writing for the king and tell him what he means. Even then, at that point in time, they were not interested in what the people of that town, country, neighborhood was offering. You can keep what you have. They were not interested. They were not, as believers, we are not to be interested in the world's offerings. Daniel, the three Hebrew boys, they were not interested with what was offered to them. And everything people would jump at a good thing, gold around your neck and a purple road and the third highest position. Excuse me. Normal folks will say, sign me up. But Daniel said, no, thank you very much. You can give all your gifts to somebody else. Your Majesty, verse 18, the Most High God gave your father Nebuchadnezzar sovereignty and greatness and glory and splendor because of the high position he gave him. All the nations and people of every language and dreaded and feared him. But I will stop at verse 17 when Daniel telling him, it's all right, don't bother, I will read it anyway. What I do want to stress and reiterate very quickly is the need for you to check. I mean, I am blown away of the excellence and the standard that this man held himself to obeying God's word and to setting himself apart from. Even though he was in the midst, they put him chief of the magicians, Nebuchadnezzar, because of what he explained. His experience with Daniel, Nebuchadnezzar put him chief of the wizards and magicians, and even though he was among people who didn't hold to his standards, he was chief. He was still, he still stood out from among them. He still was separate. When they called all of them, Darius called all of them to come and explain what the writing on this wall is. None of them could explain, but you know who they remember? Chief Mr. Daniel. Call him. The queen said, call Daniel. Stop looking so pale. Call Daniel. He will be able to explain this to you. And Daniel was not interested at all in what the king was offering. I want to encourage us to, even though we are working in secular places, even though we may around people that don't hold to the same beliefs that you hold to, even though you might be in an environment where everything about it is sinful, everything about it goes against what you should be doing, stand alone. Be okay to stand alone and do it with excellence. Daniel was chief. I mean, when the queen described the queen hearing the voices of the king and his nobles, verse 10, came into the banquet hall. May the king live forever, she said. Don't be alarmed, don't look so pale. There is a man in your kingdom who has the spirit of the holy gods in him. In the time of your father, he was found to have insight, intelligence, and wisdom like that of the gods. Your father, King Nebuchadnezzar, appointed him chief of the magicians, enchanters, astrologers, and diviners. He did this because Daniel, whom the king called Belshazzar, was found to have a keen mind and knowledge and understanding, and also the ability to interpret. Like she just lay out the man's resume. He was one who operated, or I decided my word for the month is excellence. He operated in so much excellence that he was chief. And because of how he lived his life, she was able to tell him, I know this man. Call so-and-so, call Daniel. He does operate this way. He have wisdom, he have intelligence. Let's work on our character. Let's work on building good character, a good name. A good name for yourself and a good name as a representative of Jesus Christ. Daniel represented where he came from, and even though he was in the midst of these people who was doing all magicians, astrologers, every possible thing. And because of their beliefs, they assume that whatever is inside Daniel is of the gods. What gods? The same three Hebrew boys who didn't want to bow to gods, the Almighty, the Most High God. And so they had to learn that is the Most High God. And what he found out, you could read the rest of the chapter, when Daniel explained to him what the words meant. What the words meant. And in quick time, exactly what Daniel explained is exactly what came to pass. What is your character saying about you? How are you living your life? How are you influencing those around you, so that when somebody hear about an issue, about a problem, hey, talk to Melina. I'm telling you, you may not like what she has to tell you, but it will be good advice and it will be good for you. Talk to Abiola, talk to Arlene, talk to this one, talk to that one. Do so, because this is the track record that this person have. And like I said, you don't want to be somebody who always gossiping, always slandering, you're always, everything always negative in your world. There's nothing ever to give God praise for. Your life doesn't exude joy or happiness or peace or kindness. Nobody could get nothing out of you. Are you that? Or are you one with an excellent spirit? Are you one where Daniel chapter 6, it said that now Daniel so distinguished himself among the administrators and the satraps by his exceptional qualities? Are there any exceptional qualities on the inside of you that others could take note of, emulate, take pattern from? Or are you just like, oh, nah boy, that stay away, stay clear? Are you that person? I just want to encourage us to sharpen up, to fine tune, and to operate in excellence. Let's live our lives that when, and you're not doing it for people, you're doing it so that perchance somebody needs a shoulder to lean on, a prop. This person is a good person. This person's character, I could pay attention to how she go through struggles, because she has marked her life by always ensuring that God is pleased, that she does what God requires of her in difficulty, when it's most challenging. Let's try and live lives of excellence. You're making sure that you're everything about it is pristine. That's my encouragement for us today. I just want to continue echoing that we have good character. Good character, folks. Let's work on our character. Let's work on distinguishing ourselves in a good way. Exceptional character, exceptional attitude on your job, exceptional attitude in your family. Be an exceptional wife, be an exceptional mother. Distinguish yourself from others. Even though you are wrong, be distinguished. I have to be distinguished, not just in academics, but in my personality, in my character, and in who I am as a person. Let's distinguish ourselves for good. We have an impact and we have an influence, and we want to do it for good. So until next time, guys, take care of yourselves. Remember to sanitize and social distance. Remind your kids to be careful. Until next time, guys, have a great week. We're working on having excellent character. Enjoy your week, guys.